Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Bit of overnight strength here, back up within the trading range for the ES. We are back to the FOMC key level from last Wednesday, and so far we've mostly compressed and traded around that level here, heading into today's session. We're mostly in the range of an even wider compression pattern, this pattern right here, and as we mentioned earlier this week, Monday and also Tuesday, that this could continue to trade sideways in this range for a bit more time here until we're ready to see that expansive phase. That could be at the beginning of the next quarter, so we could be looking at more up and down type of price action back and forth here within this range over the next couple of few days until we end the month and end the quarter. Once that happens, we could be looking at expansion early next quarter. So right now, early strength here, which could open up a continuation as high as the previous week's high. That's this point right there, as high as that level. If so, it could turn right back down. Right now, again, expecting the range to continue to hold and maintain until proven otherwise. So right now, early up. If there's a failure to hold 40-30 here, that could open up a rotation back within the range, as 4,000 continues to be that major pivot that this thing is chopping above and below. If we take a look here at the NQ, this one's up 1% here today and is also back within its range. So in the previous session here, we saw price trade down toward the bottom of the range, even a little bit lower than these lows, and then turn back up. And again, the idea here is that we're not likely to break out from this range just yet. We continue to see it develop. We've seen up a day, down a day, up a day, down a day type of price action, couple of downs. Now today is the up a day here that takes us perhaps back toward that FOMC key level. That's 12,925 with a shot at seeing the previous week's high. In the best case scenario, that would take us way up here to 13,082. So still stuck inside the range, still a developing narrow range. If you wanted to take this out from last Tuesday, that's about 7 days here developing. You can go before that as well, and you can look at a 9-day range. So this thing is definitely building out a range at these highs, not ready to break out just yet. But until that breakout occurs, we could be looking at more strength within the range here until proven otherwise. But a breakout may not come until the new quarter begins. If we take a look here at crude oil, right now crude oil up 1.27% at the moment. This one has a very narrow range right now, just 20% of average, 71 cents a range. It's been averaging about $3.57 of range on a 10-day basis. This was a significant day. That higher low as price traded around 70, and then price got the big squeeze through 70 and through the prior pivot high of 72s. That put it back inside this trading range right here, and we're now seeing higher highs, higher lows day after day. Trading 74s right now. We could see a pullback. Any pullback over the next 1 to 3 days could be a buyable dip for a return back to 80.50. So if today remains like this, we may see this thing drop over the next today, tomorrow, or 2 or 3 days. That could provide a higher low rejection similar to this one here. That pivot low could be used to push this thing up toward 80.50 up ahead with a stopping point somewhere around 77. So the next pullback could be a buying opportunity for a continuation toward 80.5 up ahead. If we take a look here at gold. Gold right now down about 0.5%. This one with a rollover gap, contract rollover gap up, a little bit of a fill. You also have a range-bound price action right here trading over the last several days in this range between 1940 and 2020. Holding just above the FOMC key level from last week, 1950.2, and is still holding above the 1960 level at this time. 1960 again is kind of that major line in the sand where price either turns down from quickly, or as you can see right here, we've had multiple turns downs off that 1960 level over time. But there is sometimes where price can get through that zone only to fail later. Right now we are through that zone. Do we get another rally up toward 2078 as high as that level, or do we fail at 1960 up ahead? So right now it's holding it at the moment. We are near the upper end of this range, but in the best case scenario we could still see a continuation toward these highs. If we do, it'd likely be a fade back toward 1960. A failure of 1960 opens up a return to 1830. So right now, doing just enough to hold, perhaps build a little energy, and maybe see a continuation up ahead for gold. We take a look lastly here at the YM. The YM is trading higher by 0.7% right now. A range on the day of 240 points up within the range here. The level here that we've been keeping an eye on early on is this 33K level. 33K, very important, bottom of the prior range, or thereabouts. Hard outside reversal that day. That was on Fed day. And since then, the Fed levels here, we dropped away from it, came back to the Fed level, and trading just above it at the moment. So this thing clearly building some energy in here as this market continues to compress. Overall, the downtrend remains in play. It is a very soft downtrend, but it is in play. We do have that rounded top behavior, and it broke down through the bottom of that rounded top here, still trying to hold that edge. So again, if there's a failure to reclaim 33K, and especially 33,315, if there's a failure to reestablish acceptance back above those zones, this could be another rotation back down. The next key level below will be 31K, and as low as 30K down here. So somewhere in this zone could be the next drop down point if a failure above 33K happens. So watching this zone very closely here over the next several days for signs of rejection or perhaps even acceptance. Again, this pivot right here is going to be very important. If there's some big breakout day through that pivot, that could be a transitional day that lifts price back toward 34,500. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.